Hey subscribers, welcome to a review of last week's stop motion battle, which was Season 5 Battle 18 between Orks and a ragtag mixture of Astra Militarum. So looking at the table at the moment, we have a board set up at the deployment phase with both armies ready to have the battle. So basically at this stage of the game I've completed the introduction where various assortment of Astra Militarum have come out of the inn here and come out and just formed around the board here. So there's various types of Astra Militarum. We've got, for starters, we've got Inquisitor over here with a Commissar and a Death Cult Assassin there in tow. Leman Russ. We've got some Ogrins over here. We've got some assortment of Last Chances over here, just assortment of different types of just Imperial Guard. Over here we've got some Scions here, we'll get a good look at those later. Chimera, we've got some Death Corps here. I don't know what they're doing on this island here, but not island, but on the coast, but anyway, they're here anyway. So we've got that. We've got not transport. It slipped my mind as far as what those guys are. It's going to come to me. I'll have to put it in the comments. It's to do with the drop troopers. It's slipped my mind. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'll bring it out in the actual battle later on. Okay, over here we've got some rat skins. So just basically different. The idea here is these various groups of Imperial Guard are just this is a meeting place in this pub here. So that's why there's just small intermittent groups. Over here we've got some Escher gangers who are seeing some time by the seaside. Over here, got another Leman Russ. And then we've got the Orks over this side. So the Orks are coming in and trying to take, or they're a raiding party essentially, when they've been raiding this area for a long time, with Smack-Erg being their home base, which is in a different area, which you'll see about later. Oh, before I get to the Orks, I should mention that we've got a few assassins. One up the top here, Vindicator Assassin. Got an old school assassin just hiding behind this building here. A Calidus Assassin just hiding up inside there. So we've got 3 assassins, but on the other side we've got a ton of Orks. Not a ton of Orks, that's next week's battle. Because next week's battle is going to really be fairly big in the way of Orks anyway. So look, we've got a bunch of Grot tanks there. One's missing because when I was assembling these, took a spill and shattered on the ground. So I'm trying to reassemble that. That really sucks, that does. Anyway. We've got a group of Orks, so these are basically Snick Grot's commando group. Essentially, well, he's up here. And then we've got some flash kits there. A couple of tanks, a couple of battle wagons. We've got the 2 Captain Badrucks there, which is the idea, again, I mentioned before about them being part of the doppelgangers as far as duplicates of key characters. Anyway, I'll hopefully flesh that out as the season goes on. We've got Orks with big choppers ready to chop up some guardsmen there. More flash kits. Dread. A big knob over there with a couple of, can't get a really good look at him there, I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, and we've got Snickrot there, and look, that's really it at this stage. So that's a quick look at the Orks and the Astra Militarum. This is Battle 18, and that is the deployment phase. Alright, stay tuned for first half of turn 1. Here we are at the end of the first half of turn 1, and we've had the Astra Militarum have their go. A couple of things to note before we get started. Firstly, we haven't got Monique this time. She did that one review with me, and we're just waiting to see how that's really going to come out. And then she may or may not be back, but anyway, we'll see how that goes. Secondly, we have just a few different elements with the picture quality as far as the stop motion goes. I'd be interested to know if anyone notices any difference. I'm not really a photographer as far as that goes, but I've just tried to reduce my ISO range, which has increased my shutter speed, if this makes any sense, as far as I know. But it actually adds, probably a second or two to each shot, and after you take 10,000 shots, it suddenly takes quite a while to get these done. So hopefully you're getting some better results on the pictures. Just means that I spend more time on them, but look, we'll wait and see how it goes. If anyone's got any expert advice on photography on how to do this stuff a little bit better, feel free to leave a comment, because I'm just winging it here. Anyway, let's have a look at the board. So we've seen the Astra Militarum come spewing out of the pub there, and they were set up and have basically just moved across the board. We had the Lehman Russ here, just take a position here, ready to fire into the oncoming orcs over that way. We've had the various groups just move up across the board here, and really there was no firing as such, no engagement. We've got the assassin up the top here, the Vindicar assassin, sitting there waiting to, waiting to take some pot shots at the orcs as they come across. Over this side, the colourless assassin chose to hide in amongst those trees there, waiting for orcs to come here and pounce on them. But no use running out to the middle of that with all that coming at you. So hiding just there for now. This assassin here just came from behind this building here, snuck down behind here to try and help out and double team with the assassin, with the colourless assassin. So assassins taking forward positions, hopefully to engage the orcs as they come on, and then as they are basically bait for the firepower of 2 Lehman Russ tanks and assorted guardsmen. So there you go, that's the strategy for the Astra Militarum. We'll see what the orcs can do next turn. Hey subscribers, here we are at the second half of turn 1, and it's been about a week or two since I've actually done the first half of turn 1, because I've been away at a volleyball masters competition. Didn't do too well, better off at doing this stop motion stuff. Anyway, it's all good fun. Let's have a look at the battle board since last time. So it's been, like I said, ages since I actually worked on the Astra Militarum's turn, but we've had some orcish movement over here. We had a pile of drop tanks work their way across this bridge that was just hastily put up by the orcs, ready to plough in this way. We had various orc mobs move up into position across this little river or water section here. Another makeshift bridge. I think all orc bridges are makeshift, aren't they? Anyway, so they put that down there ready for some tanks to roll over, and they came across. Didn't have any firing on this side, mainly because they're out of range, but we've got a couple of Lehman Russ tanks here ready to pummel the orcs as they surge across this section here. We've got a battle wagon here which is not really doing anything, just coming up the rear. Everyone else has taken a position. The only thing we had was a grenade get thrown at the assassin hiding up there. Didn't kill it. Orcs can't, I don't expect an orc to actually hit an assassin like that, but anyway, that's what they did. Over this side, all these guys just basically moved up into position as well. So next turn we're going to have, like I said, the Lehman Russ firing into the orc positions, and maybe these assassins are going to do something here. I reckon that one there, maybe try and tamper with this tank just here, possibly, or this guy. Oh, gee, I reckon, I don't think he'd bother going down that way. He's just going to get massacred in amongst that. He's probably better off coming up, hiding behind this building here and using his abilities in a more constructive manner. Anyway, that's what we have at the end of turn 1. No casualties as yet, but they'll start coming on in turn 2. Here we are at the end of the first half of turn 2. And it's been a few weeks since I've been doing this battle. I've been actually organising the model show. Normally every year I go to a model show and show a bunch of models, and I'm just organising over the next week or two what I'm going to be taking. This is a couple of boxes that I'm going to be taking along with that, and pretty much 10 boards of these things here. Not going to give too much away. That's the actual battle, which I'll get to in just a minute. So this time I've taken some Catachans, which, oh look, they were there, I've taken them away. I'm taking this army here, a bunch of Chaos Cultists, and I'm going to be taking a bunch of Khorne. Look, again, all this is all over the place. We'll see how that goes. And I'm taking some Kroot as well. Got 14 armies that I'm going to be sitting into these over here. I'm going to have to do another video working that out, just showing what that's all about. I'll get back to this anyway. We've seen the Astra Militarum pour out of the pub there and start taking on the Orks as they advance across that little river section there. We've had Leman Russ fire over here, taking out a couple of Orks, bodyguard for that boss there, and we took out one Grot tank over this side. We had the assassin come down over here, jump out of this forest section here, and take out this tank up here. And we also had some fire from the Tauros there, which took out the tank there as well. So we had an assassin just here. He was up this way, but really he couldn't run in to the combat over there because he was going to be outnumbered by all those Orks. So he came back over here and just hid behind that building where he started. So we also had some fire from the Vindicator assassin up here. Took out one Ork hiding behind that little section just there. So the Calidus assassin is looking pretty exposed over here, but all in all, look there, Astra Militarum have taken a pretty good position up on this elevated area here. So we'll wait and see what the Orks can do in the next turn. Here we are at the end of turn 2, and the Orks are making their way across the board. I'm trying to find out what I can do with the Orks in this battle that just sort of fits in with what I've done in previous battles. You know, I've had like Orks do, you know, jumping on bikes over canyons. I've had those Goth Rockers have a bit of a storyline, but I'm trying to find out what I could do with these guys. At the moment we're look at turn 2, and both armies are basically just facing each other off at this stage. But you know, I'm trying to find some inspiration here. This is what I'm working on. What can they do to provide some additional entertainment over and above the actual battle itself? So look, just working across the board. We had the Grot tanks here with the assistance of some flash kits here. Take out Leman Russ that was sitting there. We had various mobs of Orks move across the board here, just going across there. We had a melee combat between these Orks here and the assassin. The assassin was fired upon by the tank here, the battle wagon, and these Orks here. So the assassin is now gone. These guys over here just moving across the board. No one else shot. Oh no, these flash kids did. They took out a couple of guys up there, but that's about it. I think I'm going to use this guy. Took some shots of him before, and he's obviously firing out of his gun there, Grot. So maybe I could do something with him. I really, at this stage, I'm working on the next battle because it's a little bit of a spoiler, but the next battle is going to consist of Orks as well. But I've got it's going to be on a much larger scale. This is a fairly small battle here. but the next battle is going to be a lot of orcs, and I'm trying to find something that will feed into the main storyline, because the characters I've got in the next battle are quite good. Anyway, I'll elaborate on that and I'll work out what I'm going to do with these guys shortly. That's where we sit at the end of turn 2. We've got turn 3 coming up shortly. Hey subscribers, here we are at the end of the first half of turn 3, and a little bit of a sad moment. Not sad, but as I'm doing these videos, I listen to audiobooks. Probably sounds a bit boring, but it just gives me a bit of inspiration. I've been listening to over the last, I don't know, year I suppose, all the Dune series. Now I don't know if anyone's heard those or read the books, but I'm just sitting here making these videos while the audiobooks are playing, and it just gives me great inspiration for all the various battles and things that go on. So if you haven't read the books or listened to the audiobooks, or you want to do any of this sort of stuff, making videos, suggest get the Dune series. By the way, I'm not getting any commission or anything from those guys. I'm just genuinely think that it's a good idea that they should be listened to. Anyway, Dune, there's quite a few books. I reckon there's probably, I don't know, there have to be hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of audiobooks there, so get your hands on those, they're pretty cool. Anyway, let's get back to the battle. And looking at the board, both armies, both sides have converged in the middle of the board, and you'd expect the Astra Militarum to sort of unload and cut the orcs to shreds, but not really. Look at that, that's the casualties we've got. 1 grot tank, 4 guys. Pretty poor. Anyway, I suppose that's what you get when you fire all these las guns into various tanks and orcs. They just can soak that stuff up all day. So we had some gangers here, the rat skins and the Escher gangers, fire in, and only one, as I said, 1 tank got taken out. There was the combined fire with the Tauros there, which took it out. We had some Chimera multi-laser action, taking out 1 orc just there. We had guardsmen moving up into position here and here. We had this assassin still at the top here, picking people off. Well, it hasn't really been too effective at this stage, but look, it's in a threatening position at this stage. We had Lehman Russ try to take out Snickrot and his gang. Took out his gang, but Snickrot's still alive. And the war boss over the side here has taken plenty of fire from Ogryn action, Scions. He's taken a fair old pummeling at this stage, but he's still sitting there in the game. Now this assassin up the front here doesn't know what he's doing. Sat there, ran back behind this building, ran back again. Just didn't want to get exposed out in the middle with various flash gets on either side. So didn't really know what to do at this stage. Just went and snuck behind this again. Didn't want to couldn't quite charge in to see these guys. And he'd probably get taken out anyway by surrounding orcs. There's some fire from up here possibly. So he's really not knowing what to do, but probably hide behind this waterfall here, wait for the orcs to come out and then sneak up behind them and stab them. That's probably what assassins do. So that's where we have it at the end of turn 3. I'm going to have to spend a bit of time and find something else to listen to, because I'm a bit sad that that Dune audio book has been going for basically been listening to it for years, and now it's gone. I'm going to have to find something else. If anyone's got any recommendations, just let me know. I like this, anything sci-fi which fits into what I'm doing here with the channel, just to give me inspiration. That'd be great. Anyway, we've got the second half of turn 3 coming up shortly. Here we are at the second half of turn 3. Orcs have had their turn, and lumbering across the board they come. Really, there wasn't a lot of casualties as far as the Astra Militarum goes, we've got some heavy weapons actually that they decide to focus and take out. We've got the Leman Russ, Tauros, a couple of gangers over the back, Ogrins, and don't worry about that guy, he's a casualty that I just dropped from the other room. But anyway, forget about that. Back onto the board, had the Grot tanks move across the board here and fire and take out those two gangs I was talking about a second ago. We had the flash kits move across and they decided to take out the Tauros, trying to focus on the heavy weaponry. If they can leave the guardsmen with all just las guns, superior strength of the Orks might be able to see them through. Anyway, moving across the board, we had the battle wagon move across and assist in, well, actually try to fire and take out the Chimera there. We had these Orks here just come up here and try and take out the assassin just there, but he's too slippery, that assassin. He's been zipping between that building and coming backwards and forwards here, but he's just sitting there. Who knows where he's going to go? Is he going to go into all that? Probably not. Probably going to go in and try and take out one of those guys. We'll see what he can do next turn. Anyway, over this side we had the Orks trundle across the board, more flash kits taking out and focusing on the Ogrins that were there. We had the war boss there take out the Leman Russ, so they really just surged across the board. Well, meanwhile we've got the Grot spewer back here, fired and took out, sorry I should say, a Ogrin and Ogrin just sitting there. So really the Orks have held up pretty well. They're right in the face of the Astra Militarum. They're just going to have to sit down and bunker down and just chew away at this advancing horde here. It's only turn 3 as well, so there's going to be a lot of carnage coming up shortly. Turn 4 coming up shortly. Here we are at the end of the first half of turn 4, and the Astra Militarum have dug in and tried to thin out the Ork ranks as they come across this bridge section, this water section over here. So moving across the board, what we had is we had the Escher Gangers and the Ratskins fire and take out the two Grot tanks that are now over here. So they've cleaned up that area. We had the Death Corps come and take out a couple of flash kits as they come across the bridge here. It was a fairly good effort, all those las guns taking out the tough flash kits there. We had the Chimera take out two Orks just there, and we had the assassin who was over this way. Instead of charging into all that, basically came charging in and took out the captain there. So here's our casualty. So the assassin's there taking on this cowboy guy. Get a good look at him. Hard to see with the lighting there, it's not too bad. So he's in combat there. Up this side we had this unit up here try and take out the battle wagon there with missile launcher. Didn't work. Up here we had the assassin take out one Ork out of there. It's actually meant to try and take out the heavy weapons lobber. Can't quite see him over there. Just a sec while I lean over. Have a look. Yep, the mech there. So he's still here. He's meant to be taken out, but mistake. Took one of those guys out instead. Anyway, he'll continue throwing his grots across the board. I don't know how effective that'll be, but he'll still keep trying. Anyway, over this side we had the Scions here fire and take out, well they didn't take out, but they injured the war boss up here, and it was followed up by the Inquisitor and his retinue charging in and cleaning that up. So there we have it. We've still got a lot of Ork action to come. They're in a real good position to carve the Astra Militarum up, but we've got this assassin up here. Maybe you can pop off a few bosses, characters, clean them up, and you know, maybe all these las guns can eventually, you know, try and take some out. We'll see how it goes. We've got the second half of turn 4 coming up shortly. Hey subscribers, here we are, second half of turn 4 for the Orks, and they've just been moving across the board and engaging the Astra Militarum, and we've seen the flash gets over here charge in the Ratskins, taking them out, well, all bar 3 of them. So that combat is ongoing. We've seen this Ork mob here come up and take out a Chimera that was just sitting just there. The cowboy, cowboss, whatever you want to call him, was in combat with the assassin there, and just using the newer rules, he's basically just withdrawing from that combat essentially and just falling in behind this unit here. The battle wagon here just turned around and tried to take out a few of the Escher gangers over this side, and then moving across the board here, we still haven't had this melee group of Orks get into any action just yet, but surely they're going to start carving some people up. We had some firing from the long range Orks up the back there. Managed to take a couple of guardsmen out. Over this side we had a mech and Snickrot go into combat here. The Ogryn was taken out and also the mech, so that's ongoing. The Dread there hasn't really had the ability to get into combat. Just trying to reinforce this area here, but couldn't do it. We had the Flash Gits take out a couple of Scions up here. That's really all. Oh, we've also got these other guys over the back there. This guy here keeps throwing grots across the board, making a big mess, but he's basically been shooting into the combat. Bozo and Bones, these guys, they're not really here for any particular reason. I've actually got another, it's a bit of a spoiler, we've got another Ork battle coming up after this, and those guys are a key element to it. So at this stage of doing this, I haven't actually written the storyline, but I've got it formulated in my mind. This Ork battle is going to be very minor compared to the next one. It's going to be huge, lots of Orks, so if you like Orks, you'll have to watch the next few weeks. Anyway, that's the end of turn 4, turn 5 coming up shortly. Here we are at the first half of turn 5, and we've seen the Astra Militarum do a pretty good job really. Look at all those Orks, all those casualties. They just sat there and just fired all those powerful las guns and took a lot out. Anyway, so there was a melee combat right here between Ratskins, Escher gangers, and there was a few Flash Gits there. So that was, you know, these guys charged in, got the one up on the Flash Gits, and they died. We had some firing from the Death Corps, trying to take out a few of the Orks here. A couple got taken out. We had a situation where the assassin here disabled that battle wagon. Now it's looking fairly exposed there, but anyway, we had some firing from this group here, from melter gun, heavy bolters, missile launchers, and don't forget the las guns. Took out a bunch of those Orks there, but they are going to be causing some havoc because they're right in melee range of those guys, and they're probably going to be in a bit of trouble. Finally, we had the Vindicator assassin take out the guy that was over there. Now he's a casualty. Where is he? There he is, just there. So he was taken out. We had the Scions over there take out a bunch of Flash Gits just there. The combat between Snickrot and we have an assassin, Inquisitor, and a Commissar over here. The Snickrot, oh it's not the Snickrot, Snickrot lost, and the those three are just waiting for their next move, but they're probably a little bit exposed to that dread just sitting there. So overall, it looks fairly evenly balanced at this stage, but Orks have a lot of heavy firepower in close combat, so they're about to get in and amongst the ranks of the Astra Militarum. Anyway, there we have it. Let's see what happens in the second half of turn 5. Here we are at the second half of turn 5, only one more turn to go. The Orks made their advance, and really there's a lot of casualties that came this turn, all that there. Anyway, so over this side we had Cowboy Dude, we'll call him for now, and his group charge in and try and take out the Death Cause, and look, they got the upper hand but didn't quite wipe out the group. So that is sitting in combat at this stage. Over this side we had the long range shooting boys jump down off this little area here and try and take out the assassin, but to no effect. There's still the 2 assassins, which is really keeping the Astra Militarum in the game. We had the big boss with big claws and hacking things come jumping up this area and took out that group of guardsmen in one go. That's all those guys there, destroyed. Over this side we had flash kits. Just advance on the Scions, and that's fairly evenly positioned really at this stage. So a few Scions left, a couple of flash kits. Big Dread and Bozo and Bones came charging in and just wiped the floor with the Assassin, the Commissar and the Inquisitor. So that's where we have it at the end of turn 5 I should say. So we've got the Astra Militarum's turn next. They'll no doubt try and reinforce this position here, maybe try and take out Cowboy Dude. Well, I don't know what this Assassin's going to do, whether he decides to charge in and take those guys on or try and sleep behind this building over here. Don't know. Vindico Assassin, well, no surprises what he's going to do. He's just going to sit at the top of this building and just pop people off. And we'll see how those combats go over there. Anyway, that's it for turn 5. We'll see what happens in turn 6 shortly. Here we are at the end of the first half of turn 6, and it's at this stage of the battle that I've worked out exactly what's going to happen in the next battle, and I'm pretty excited about this next one. It's going to take a lot of effort, and it's probably about 3 more battles to go until the end of the season, so it's getting to the pointy end of the storyline. Pretty exciting for me anyway. So let's see how we're looking for first half turn 6. So the Astra Militarum have basically just trying to hold their ground as the Orks advance. We had the Assassin here have a choice, who was standing just there, whether to charge headlong into that or to come over here and try to take a pot shot at Cowboy Dude over here. So he chose to come this way because there's an Ork right at the back there with a nasty looking power claw, which could cause a lot of mayhem or problems for him. So decided to go this way, but didn't actually kill the Ork. So anyway, that's what they did. Over here, the combined Ratskins and Escher Gangers tried to fire into this group over here, took out a couple of guys. Death Cause were in combat, but they can basically fall back in the movement phase in the 8th edition rules, as far as my knowledge goes. Now, I'm not really that great with the rules, as you probably realise, so if I make any mistakes with these new 8th edition rules, just leave a comment or get stuck into me. But this is really one of my first battles where I am actually using 8th edition rules. Over here we had the Assassin up here, take a pot shot, take out the boss. Who did he take out? This Ork in mega armour. And over here we've had the Scions slugging away with the flash gits, so they had a choice of like falling back or just staying in the fight, and they decided to stay in the fight, and that's fairly evenly balanced at this stage. So that's where we have it at the end of first half turn 6. I'd say at this stage really the Orks might have it, because we've still got Dread, Orks back there. This is like pretty evenly balanced. Orks, and these guys are no doubt going to do something at some stage. So we'll wait and see how this turns out. We've only got half a turn to go, so we'll see what happens. Well, that's the end of the battle. That's the end of turn 6, and the Orks have won in a big way. It came down to early in the battle when the Astra Militarum lost both Leman Russes. They could have caused a lot of damage through the Ork ranks, but they lost them early, which means they didn't have the firepower to knock down the Orks as they advanced. Looking at the final board, well, it's kind of at a stage now where I'm filming where I'm doing the storyline close down of the battle. So, you know, in this actual turn we had the Dread and Bozo and Bones, which were over there. They basically just made their way across the board. I'm just at a stage now where I'm filming the closure of the battle. Mitch, etc., coming out of the pub here. Over this side we had Orks attack the last of the Scions, and the Scions were vaporised. The assassin that was hiding behind that building was taken out. We had the cowboy Ork take out the last of the death cause, and there is nothing really happening over here from an Ork perspective. So that's really the end of the battle. Orks win, and now we move on to the next battle, which I'm looking forward to, which is going to be Orks again. So if you like Orks, it's going to be a good few weeks. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.